Hey, what's up?
What's going on, people? Sorry about the delay. We are
Oh,
actually we are here. You know what it is.
yeah, we're having some fun. We actually just did like 10 minutes of show before we realized that no one could see the show but me, apparently. So we tried to get some technical glitches out the way, but we're back. We're here. We're ready. What's good? What's good? In fact, let me actually switch this up because y'all don't. We can't start off with news. Let's put up our show title for the day. What we're doing this week is, hey, don't overreact. It's week one. Yo, what's up, Justin? I hope you haven't been waiting too long. I thought we were live before. Apparently, I messed it up. so, yeah. Let's jump right in. With our week one coverage. So, how'd you do? How'd you fare your first week, Rodney?
I did well, man. I did. I went 4-2. I can't complain, man. I'm feeling confident about this year. I'm feeling I can win some chips on. I like my teams, man. I like my teams. I think we gonna do some work over here. So I'm probably gonna bring a couple of chips on this year, man. I got a couple guys I think that's gonna do work every week. So I'm good. I think I'm good,
Okay,
honestly.
cool, cool. I did all right, 4-4 in my leagues. But if you follow us on social media, you might have seen I'm the money man. I brought in a quarter in my best ball league. I finished first place in best ball for one of my four. I have four. I have 8 redraft leagues and I have 4 best ball leagues. So I was first place in that joint, and so it was a good week. Our producer even had a good week. She was what, 3-1.
3-1.
Yeah, our producer is 3-1, and not only is she 3-1 in her fantasy football leagues, but we also have the pro pick'em where we try to pick all of the games. If you watch the 40 seconds play clock, you'll see our predictions. Sydney came in first. Our producers 12-4. I'm 11-5, and Rodney is in last place. But again, first week we're not overreacting.
Yeah,
Um,
we ain't overreacting.
before we
It's
go
all
into the
good.
news again, for those that missed it, let's jump right into some questions because Justin is up here. He said he traded away Barkley and Jamar Chase and
Well,
got
Chase,
Zeke and Devontae Smith on the Eagles. Hmm.
that's a pretty fair trade. I'll take that
Yeah,
trade.
I think
Yeah,
it's a fair trade. I think the biggest thing in that trade is you get Zeke instead of Saquon
yeah,
Barkley.
Barkley. Yeah,
I like neither Zeke or Saquon Barkley had a good first week, but we kind of know why Dallas had a bad start with their running game because that Tampa
yeah,
Bay rushing defense is no joke. Saquon
definitely.
Barkley, on the other hand, I can see he might struggle this whole year because
Yeah,
they're not good.
man, I
That
tell you,
Giants
man.
team's
Yes,
not good.
yesterday, well, not today.
Yeah,
Today, they said that he probably not gonna play. He's not gonna get
yeah,
a whole lot of work
yeah. They
tomorrow.
had
Which
him very limited. You're right.
they got. I mean, if the injury is still that bad, they should have put him on IR for the first 3 games and kind of let him heal a little bit instead of kind of rushing him back. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a good trade for him though,
yeah.
because
I
you
like
getting
that.
rid of Barkley.
Jamar Chase actually, despite having the case of the drops in the
He
preseason, had a
played
good
well
game.
last week.
But I think that's about a fair split with Devontae Smith. So I'm not mad at that trade at all. Um, so he wants to know, should he start? He starts one in PPR. James Robinson, Rojo, I think that's Javante Williams on Denver, or James White. Let's
I'm
see.
saying I'm saying starting J Rob because the
Mm-hmm.
volume. Rojo, they switch out too much. They said he gonna start, but he can be in the doghouse by the second.
All
If
right.
he fumble again, he gonna be in the doghouse. So you probably lose points. And Williams, that's splitting carries. At least you know with Robinson, he getting all the carries. He's gonna be the main one back there. He just had a bad start last week.
He had a
So,
very bad start.
but
now,
I
here's the
think
thing about that bad start with Robinson. Part of the problem was they were so far behind, they kind of just abandoned the run
yeah,
altogether. Um, we used to do our impact players. We talk about the guys who were good, and James Robinson was on my bad list. He only had 5 attempts at rushing, and actually, the only thing that scares me about Robinson is he actually got out carried by Carlos Hyde. I think that again has to do with the fact that they were down so much.
Yeah.
That he just didn't get the work he normally would. So, given that those choices, I don't like Rojo at all. I think I do believe that Leonard Fournette's going to be the dominant guy in that backfield based off what we saw. Javonte Williams is probably going to be like a 50-50 split, like you said. And James White, I kind of like PPR wise, but I like Robinson a little bit more. So I go Robinson, James White. And then I'd probably go Javonte Williams, and Rojo would be my last choice. But I'm with you. James Robinson's definitely the start.
Yeah.
Want to hit some impact players? Or
let's go to a little news.
Oh yeah, that's right. My bad.
Week 1 injuries, man. I just got a few, but it was a lot this week, man. It was. Ooh, I mean, coming to like some of the key ones because Jerry Jeudy. With the high ankle sprain, he out 8 weeks. Raheem Mostert out for the season. Fitzpatrick's out for 3 to 6 weeks with a hip injury.
Yeah.
That means Tallahassee is coming in to play quarterback this for the remainder, I guess, for the 6 weeks.
Yeah. He's coming in to play quarterback poorly, by the way. But continue.
I mean,
poorly.
He didn't play bad.
He's not a starter. He's a backup, and so like I said, I can't hate on him because he's from our hometown. He went to ODU, but watching some of them passes, I was like, that's why I said before the season started, this would be the 1 year Ryan Fitzpatrick could keep his job because he usually gets replaced by the young guy. I was like, they're not going to replace him with Heineke, but they apparently are because injury. So I guess Ryan Fitzpatrick just stays that way. So Heineke. You pick him up, obviously, if you had Fitzpatrick, you need somebody.
Yeah,
maybe. But I
mean,
I'm not looking. It really hurts my feelings for Scary Terry because Scary Terry was one of my top wide receiver prospects this year.
I don't know, man. Scary Terry, he reminds me a lot of Robinson from Chicago, where he could just
He's good no matter who the quarterback is.
He's good no matter who quarterback is back there. He just seemed like he gonna just do numbers regardless of whoever's in the backfield throwing the ball to him. So I think at the end of the day, I'm not worried about Scary Terry. Jerry Jeudy, I had Jerry Jeudy and I was high on him. I had him in a bunch of leagues. That injury, he was balling before he got hurt too.
Yeah.
That hurt me. So I was like, man, but. I mean, Courtney Sutton about to go in, and so if you can pick him up, he's definitely going to get work. People are saying he didn't do that last week, but he was on a pitch count.
Yeah.
First of all, he's coming back from the ACL injury. He was on the pitch count. They only played him about 20 snaps.
Yeah.
So they know they're going to kind of have to use him more now than anything. Going forward, he's going to be the number 1 receiver.
Yeah.
So I have no issue with that. And with Raheem Mostert, I mean, he's hurt. He's been hurt for the last 2-3 years, so that's why we drafted all these running backs, and the guy that came in did work. So I'm good with that. I'll take that.
All right, well, welcome Anita to the show. But while we're talking about the 49ers and we're doing news, an article I shared with you earlier this week, it kind of has me a bit scared about what's happening this day. We'll talk, I'm pretty sure, a lot about Elijah. You know, Elijah Mitchell, everyone's picking him up. But who didn't play was news to me. So it's like, hey, I drafted Trey Sherman in 5 leagues, and he played in nothing this first week. As well as, on that same vein, Brandon Ayuk only played, like 40? Did he get, like 46?
Look, man. That whole...
What's your... To sum it all up, what's your boy Kyle Shanahan doing, and why is he trying to ruin my fantasy football teams?
Look, man, I don't understand. This is the thing, man. I don't understand what he's doing. Like, I may sound like a hater on this one, but you're benching the wrong people. Like, you're benching, obviously, Debo had a great game, but you're benching either your first or second best receiver on your team.
Right.
Because he was hurt for 1 week. And he had a couple of drops in the preseason.
Right.
Still, at the end of the day, he's still one of your best receivers on the team outside of Debo and Kittles. So you don't bench a guy like that. So I don't know if you want to play hardball with him or whatever you're doing. It doesn't make sense to
Yeah.
me. And then you mentioned Trey Sherman, who everybody thought was going to be the second running back
Right.
out of the backfield and that's the way
You
he
traded
portrayed
up
it.
to get Trey Sherman.
You trade up to get him,
Right.
so he's a third round pick, and you want to put up you going a healthy scratch. I mean, for me, he doing, and I love Shanahan.
Yeah.
Shanahan, my guy, but I feel like he doing a little bit too much right now. I think he need to kind of rein it in. We all know you the head coach. You make the rules, whatever. But at the end of the day, you got to play your talent. Talent wins football games. Just because you want to prove a point to somebody doesn't make sense. That's my take on it.
Yeah. We got another question coming in from Justin. He shared with us his lineup of one of his big leagues with Russell Wilson, AK-41, that's Alvin Kamara, Amante, my favorite guy, David Montgomery. We got Stephon Diggs, Amari Cooper, AB, Antonio Brown. Yeah, we got to talk about him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because I think I
Unfortunately
said
for
last
you.
week Antonio Brown was dead to me. He was
Yeah.
very much alive last week.
Okay. Oh yeah.
He got Kyle Pitts in the flex spot. Gordon, Melvin Gordon, that is, on the bench. Galladay, Connor, Callaway, Hunter, Henry, Trey Lance, Murray, and Gainwell. Nice squad, a lot of players. But the question is, should he trade Amari Cooper, and Melvin Gordon to get Adams?
I would say no.
Is that based off the Green Bay game, or
no? That's not based off the Green Bay game. It's based off the fact that Dak and them are going to be throwing so much this year. It's going to be insane. First of all, they just lost their offensive tackle today. He broke his foot. He's out for a minute.
Yeah.
They just lost another offensive tackle. Last week, he suspended for 5 games. There's nowhere to run. Like, Zeke is going to be all right. I mean, but, like, Dak is going to throw that ball at least 40 times a game. He's going to do those same numbers he did against Tampa Bay every week. And you got to think about it. Cooper and CeeDee Lamb are going to eat because there's nobody else. And they just lost their third receiver.
Right.
So he's out. So it's like those are the only 2 guys that's going to – yes, Adams is going to get his. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But the way Green Bay looked last week and Aaron Rodgers, the way he looked, I would stick with Amari Cooper and Melvin Gordon because you probably can get more out of those 2 than you can Adams because it's more like a 2-for-1. I feel like you're giving up too much to get Adams.
And that would be my point right there. I love Adams. I think he's going to be much better. He's in my opinion, still the best wide receiver in the league. But, yeah, you're giving up way too much to give away Cooper. Because I think Cooper is going to be a stud this year. And Gordon, hey, I was very impressed with what I saw from Melvin Gordon this year. So I would not want to give away. Because, honestly, at the end of the year, Cooper and Adams could be very close together. Aaron Rodgers had the MVP season last year. But the thing to consider is strength of schedule, and the Packers' strength of schedule is tougher this year than it was last year. So I would expect Aaron Rodgers' numbers to be down this year, not poorly. I mean, I don't think it'll be anything like we saw last week against the Saints. But if you're thinking last year's production from the passing game and the wide receiver, I would say go a little bit lower than that. And so that's why I would say I wouldn't be surprised for Amari Cooper and Devontae Adams to be very close by the end of the season. And so you're giving away someone plus Melvin Gordon to get the production that you probably already are going to have. So I'm with you.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
and I got Amari. Amari is going to do that every week. He's getting just the targets alone.
Yeah.
He's going to get
especially with Gallup being out.
Oh, my gosh. Those 2 receiver sets is going to be all day.
If you have CeeDee Lamb or Amari Cooper, expect some very good numbers.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You're going to –
yeah.
Because CeeDee Lamb got 15 targets last week.
Exactly.
And Amari got 13. And that if you can get that every game, come on, man. Like, you can't go wrong with that.
Cannot. Another part 2, if you will. Elijah Mitchell, which, we're going to have to talk about him. Mitchell or James White or James Robinson or Marshall Jr. From the Panthers. He has to start 2 of those.
Well, I'm
I think we
starting
still say James Robinson still.
James Robinson, yeah.
I think Mitchell.
Mitchell, yeah.
Yeah, I think
I like
Robinson and
Mitchell.
Mitchell.
Because Mitchell will run heavy team, and I think Mitchell and Mitchell I gotta go Mitchell and Robinson. Yeah.
I mean, Sherman.
I
just
think
talked
they're gonna
about your
split
guy Kyle, but he can't bench with Mustard out. He can't. You can't expect Mitchell to have that kind of vibe, because the thing about Kyle Shanahan, and you know this, being a 49ers fan, is he'll go with the hot hand. Someone on I can't remember who it was, basically did a breakdown of all the lead running backs for the 49ers last year, and it was a different dude like every week. Like they had 4 different guys, 4 or 5 different running backs that were the lead running back at some point in the season. So yeah, I despite that, I still think Mitchell is, based off what we saw last week, I think Mitchell, at least for this week, until I see differently, I think it's going to be the lead guys, because they were very enamored with him going into the season. So there were some signs and indications that they liked him more than Trey Sherman. I don't know how long that's going to be the case, but for now,
I think they go split
for now, I think he's the hot hand. So I'd say Mitchell. James White, like I said, I like for PPR purposes, but not more than I like Robinson. Marshall Jr. for me right now is nah. I mean, I like him. Don't get me wrong, but if I'm not starting him until it's like a bye week start, or I just have an open flex spot that I can't fill. But for me, Marshall's not a starter, not in fantasy. Pat's defense or Brown's defense this week?
Browns.
The Pats were so disappointing to me. Now they get the Jets, so I kind of like that, but I'm still gonna go with the Browns, because the Browns are playing the Texans, and
I'm going with the Browns. Yeah.
Is he overreacting on Pitts and Jane Robinson? On Jane Robinson, probably overreacting. Pitts
overreacting.
Here's the thing about Pitts. I'm gonna say it depends on how you're feeling about it. For me, as a person who usually draft, Matt Ryan is usually the guy I draft. And you know me and Matt Ryan. I have some Matt Ryan love. This first game really has me concerned. And I don't have Matt Ryan in a lot of leagues this year, because I was kind of watching him last year, and I think I said this on the show maybe last week or maybe before the season started. You have to expect with Matt Ryan, you're going to have these up and down games where sometimes that offense just looks terrible. Even when Julio Jones was there with Calvin Ridley, how often did we go weeks and weeks before they get a touchdown to a wide receiver? Pitts, I'm tempering expectations for, just because I'm not very happy with what I saw, and it's not like they were really playing a top-notch defense last week, right? I don't think the Eagles are going to scare anybody with the strongest defense in the league. I'm not going to say dump Pitts. I still like him, but I before the season, I was thinking, okay, in this offense, Pitts should be easily a top 5 tight end. I'm not 100% sure I believe that anymore. We'll see.
Well, I think this week is probably going to be a bounce back week because of 2 things.
It has to be, right? It can't go worse.
First of all, that front 7 of Tampa, you can't run on. So Mike Davis, it's going to be hard for him to run.
Yeah.
He may kind of make that up in the passing game. So I think they're going to have to score to keep up with Tampa Bay. They're going to have to pull a Cowboys and just throw the ball. Cowboys just went straight passing against Tampa last week. They're going to literally have to throw the ball every single play. They're going to have to mix in some runs, but it's not going to be a lot of them. So I think Pitts is going to have opportunities just to He's going to get his opportunities this week coming up, period, just because of the fact that they have to pass the ball.
To throw. I agree with that part.
Yeah.
But, I guess for me, my whole thing with him is I can see James Robinson playing a lot better this year. because I still believe what we saw last year from them.
Yeah.
Only thing that scares me about James Robinson is that the Jaguars are not going to be good. So if they get behind, they won't be. He had. I think I said this when the show was live. I can't remember was that our private show we did, but he had 5 carries this last week.
I mean, but the thing is this.
But
though,
he's also he catches out the backfield.
He catches out the backfield. That's what I'm saying. So for them to go completely away from him last week, I don't know if that had anything to do with Trevor Lawrence, just throwing down the field, because he don't seem like the quarterback that's gonna dump it off to the running back a whole lot. So, but you still gotta kind of use him as a safety blanket at the same time, in case you get that coverage breakdown or whatever. So, at the end of the day, I think he'll be all right. I think Pitts can be all right too.
I think they'll be all right. I'm just saying, I have lower expectations after week 1 than I did before. Let me ask you this question, because I think the problem with Pitts and James Robinson are very similar in as much as I think they're both going to be dictated by the quarterback play, and neither quarterback was that good last week. But between Matt Ryan and Trevor Lawrence, who do you have the most confidence in going forward?
Ooh, man, I mean, I got Matt Ryan in one league, and I was half tempted to trade him, but
right.
But I was like, I'm gonna hold on to him because I know they're gonna have to throw this week. They got to.
They have.
I mean, they gotta throw. They gotta throw to stay in the game, because Tampa can come out there and run the score up, and then they can't sit back and run the ball like that. So they're gonna have to throw the ball. Yeah. Now, who do I trust the most? I'm a guy that like veterans, honestly. Outside of Trey Lance, I'm a guy that like veterans, and there's only really 2 rookies that I like this year, and that's Fields and Trey Lance. So
the 2 that aren't starting.
The 2 that's not starting. But those are the 2 I really like.
Right.
Well, other than that, I'm a big guy that's on drafting veteran quarterbacks that I know that's going to be there, that's not going to get benched, that type of thing. So I would trust Matt Ryan a little bit more, because I know Matt Ryan can kind of get it together. He's going to have to get it together at some point. And the fact that he's not going to get benched because they don't have anybody behind him. Trevor Lawrence is not going to get benched either, but I think it's going to be a tougher road for Trevor Lawrence. It's more of a learning curve than anything. He's going to make his mistakes. He had 3 interceptions this week. Yeah. So, I mean, Matt Ryan not a good start. Matt Ryan had less than 200 yards and no touchdowns, but I think when Matt Ryan get right, I think he's right. And that's what I think personally. But I go Matt Ryan, honestly. But
I dig it. I would probably, for now, agree with you and say I'm going to go Matt Ryan. And it, just like you said, it has to be more so because he's a veteran. He's had these type of terrible games before and bounced back from them. We don't know what Trevor has in him quite yet. Justin says, by the way, thanks for the question, Justin. He says he thinks Robinson gets 30 yards, 5 for 20 receiving and a touchdown.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, that's still, if you're in a league that does 6 points for a touchdown for receiving, that's good. I mean, it depends on yards though, and
I think the biggest thing that happened for James Robinson is the fact, like we said, he catches out the backfield, because we saw from last week running against the that Tampa Bay defense. Good luck with that one.
That's why.
Good luck. So
I got Mike Davis in a bunch of leagues, and I put him on the bench this week because I just know it's going to be a waste, honestly. Yeah. So we'll see.
We'll see what it do. But good luck with that.
Good luck. I did have one piece of news that's kind of interesting. Megatron.
Oh, I know this.
He said he still wants his money from Detroit Lions. They owe him $1.6 million in the bonus that he had to pay back when he retired. Right. I don't know how that works, but it seemed weird to me that you asked to pay money back for retiring. Something new to me. I don't know anything about it. I mean, I think it's strange, but he said he's not going to do anything with the franchise until he gets paid, which he has every right to. I would definitely be the same way. So, I mean, it's $1.6 million. Not saying it's a lot of money to me, but to a franchise like that, pay the man because he was the franchise
I,
for a
I
long
I
time.
think you pay him only because the fact of you're the Lions. You don't have that much to hold on to.
Thank
You
you.
can't alienate one of your best players. So
That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
I mean, they only got Barry Sanders that come back and do work for him.
right.
Other than that, I mean, you might have a Matthew Stafford once he retires, but I don't really see anybody
Right.
else doing it. So yeah.
Yeah.
But let's get to these top players of the week. And we're gonna start with these quarterbacks.
All
So
right.
I'm gonna start with Derek Carr. Derek Carr had a monster game. 34, 56, 435, 2 touchdowns. Had an interception, but it don't matter. They won. Prescott. What?
Whoa! No, we're not gonna just mention Derek Carr. Just move on. What are you doing?
You really want to talk about Derek
This
Carr?
is Raider Nation over here. Hey, you
Oh,
brought it up. I
God.
didn't expect you to start out with Derek Carr. I thought you were gonna start somewhere else. But since you said it, can we
Okay.
take a moment during these games to talk about how great the Raider
Mhm.
Nation is and how I told everybody in the 40-second play clock, make sure you watch it this Saturday, that the Raiders were going to win that one, and how they came through in the clutch and
I
threw
mean,
a
yes,
touchdown to
man.
Zay Jones of all people. Yeah, that's how good the Raiders are. You better watch out for them. All right. I'm sorry. I'm interrupting. I'm out of turn because we talking
Okay.
impact players. I'm talking about Raider Nation.
Okay.
But before I let you continue, thanks, Greg, joining the show. Let me get to his question. He said he traded Clyde and Mooney for Gaskins and Ayuk before week 1. Oops. Should he be worried about Ayuk and Gaskins' workload?
No, you should not be.
Right.
I think Gaskin's gonna get that work period there in Miami, so I think you're good. He like I said earlier, he's the second, first or second. He's 1A, 1B, whatever you want to call it, on that team as far as receiver. I don't know. Shanahan said he's not in the doghouse. They say he say he's happy with him. He's not doing this. I think he's going to play more this week. I think you're going to get your return. You're going to get something good back in return from Brandon Ayuk. And that's just not me being a homer. That's me being actually just knowing the news. That's what's going on. But I think he's going to play. I think he's be all right. I wouldn't worry about it.
I would say on that, I'm not worried about Gaskin or Ayuk for 2 reasons. One, I like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but we know for a fact that the Chiefs' run game is not really that strong. So if I'm trading Clyde for Myles Gaskins, I'm okay with that. And then in the Mooney, as long as that dude Andy Dalton is the starter, I don't even.
Yeah.
I love Mooney, and I was big. I only was able to get Mooney in a couple of leagues, but I was targeting him because, in my opinion, at some point Justin Fields is going to be the starter, and that's when I like Mooney. As long as Andy Dalton is the starter, and apparently Matt Nagy is still not listening to us, I think while none of these 4 guys were great, I think potential for greatness is on the end of the deal you got with Gaskins and Ayuk. So I'm not worried. I'm not overreacting yet. So I think you worked out well with that trade, and it should get better for you.
Yeah. Clyde just not going. Clyde just not. They're not going to run the ball in Kansas City.
The
They
only
just don't do it.
what Clyde has going for him is, like we said about Robinson, he catches out the backfield, but still, when you're catching out the backfield or just catching in period on the Chiefs, know you way back in the pecking order if your name isn't Kelsey or Tyreek Hill, right?
So I agree with you.
Yeah, you did well. Welcome early to the Lewis to the show. Another question from Justin. It's going against Kyler Murray. Ooh, good luck with that. Austin, Miles Sanders, Scary Terry, Coop Diggs, tight end, Tunyon, defense, Giants, kickers, and Jason Meyer. To make sure I'm understanding this correct, I'm guessing he's going against.
Yeah, he's
going against.
He's going against Kyler Murray, but he just put down his roster.
Yeah, so is Kyler Murray the only one he's going against, and the rest of the group is his team?
Yeah. So no, he's going against Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, Austin Miles Sanders, Scary Terry. That's the team he's going against. But if you look at his next one, he got Matthew Stafford.
I didn't see the one after that. Okay. Okay. I was missing the message. Okay, let me scroll down some more. Okay, so that's the team he's going against. He has Stafford, who I love. Jane Robinson we mentioned before,
Robinson.
Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones has to bounce back from last week.
Yes.
The good thing is, hey, if you were worried about Aaron Jones, if you're worried about Aaron Rodgers, they're playing the Lions. So
yeah, this should be all right.
That's going to straighten up. Justin Jefferson, Allen Robinson, Tyreek Hill, Pitts. He has the Browns defense, which we said before we like, and kicker, great delay. So yeah, I think that's going to be a close one, especially if Kyler Murray. Since we're talking impact players, let me throw his name out there. Say, hey, Kyler Murray rescued me in one of my leagues. So yeah, but I'm trying to think. I think that Titans game, I had really expected the Titans defense to show up a little bit better than they did. But you never know for certain. You're going against some real ballers.
but I don't know. But I like his lineup of Matthew. I love that because you got Jefferson, you got A-Rod, you got Hill, Pitt. I like that. He got a lot of heavy hitters.
Yeah.
On his team, he should be fine just because of the fact that I think Matthew Stafford is going to outdo Kyler Murray as far as passing yards and touchdowns. So, and then he got obviously Jones and Rob. So I think he should be fine. Jefferson, the A-Rob one, as long as Dalton is there, he's not going to fare well as far as fantasy. He gonna still do his numbers, but he's not gonna do as well as he could be doing with Andy Dalton there, because Andy Dalton is not gonna get him the ball as much as a Fields would. So yeah, I like that. I think he has a better chance of winning against the team with Kyler Murray. So,
welcome Noah to the show. Should I start Chris Godwin or Allen Robinson this week? They have Tom Brady, so if they start Godwin, you get the stack points. I would say Chris Godwin only because, and I think we were talking about it before, they keep – I know Allen Robinson's Allen Robinson. He's good no matter who the quarterback is, but
Andy
Dalton is ruining my life right now. So,
but they play Atlanta too, so that should be pretty easy for Chris Godwin to get off. So I don't see – why you don't? Chris Godwin should be the one you're starting. Yeah. Now,
I mean,
with Tom Brady, you get the double points too. So
I think and I love Allen Robinson. I think we've mentioned before, but if you ask me who's the better wide receiver between Godwin and Allen Robinson, I'd say Chris Godwin is. Not only I think he's better, I think his quarterback is better. So when you put those two things together, plus like you mentioned, you have Tom Brady. So we're talking potential. As long as Antonio Brown stops being good, you should be good. And Chris Godwin got his work in anyway.
Yeah, he got his work in too. So he was good.
Yeah, I'm with you. Chris Godwin, hands down.
Yeah, so I would definitely roll with Chris Godwin.
Yeah,
I'm rolling with Chris Godwin this week too. So yeah, that's a good one. That's a good play. Well, I'm gonna finish this list up real quick.
Who else you got? Unpack quarterbacks. You said
I got Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott, definitely.
42, 58, 42 of 58, 403, 3 touchdowns. Got Tom Brady, 32 of 50, 379, 4 touchdowns. I got Kirk Cousins up here. Kirk Cousins didn't play bad. He went for 36 of 49, 351, 2 touchdowns. Patty Mahomes, 27 to 30. I'm sorry, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, get it right. Don't have his mama calling us.
Please, I don't want no problems. 27 to 36, 337, 3 touchdowns. Matthew Stafford you can't take none away from him. He had a great debut with the Rams. Did work, so you got to give it to him. Who you got?
Well, you said every quarterback in the league. The only one you didn't say, and how dare you not mention Jameis Winston, throwing 5 touchdowns, and even bigger than the 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. So he didn't have a lot of yards, but yeah.
He didn't have the yards.
Only 148 yards, but hey, 70% completion rating, and again, no interceptions. So hey, he came in and outplayed Aaron Rodgers. So Jameis Winston gets my star for the day.
Yeah,
along with Derek Carr, who you started your list with.
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm about to start. I'm gonna start Derek Carr in a couple leagues this week. Yeah. So the way he played, he played well, man.
I tried to tell you. Not only is Derek Carr good, but we'll get to this list later. since we're talking impact players, there's some impact players on the Raiders from top to bottom. But I'll let you go. Do you have any people you were disappointed in as far as quarterbacks? Fantasy, other than Aaron Rodgers, obviously, who we talked about.
Aaron Rodgers was the only one.
Yeah.
I mean, Baker Mayfield played pretty bad too, which is common for him. He had a couple of drives where he could have won the game.
Yeah.
He went a 3-and-out, and then the second one he threw an interception. He tried to say he was throwing it out of bounds. Okay, Baker, we understand, brother.
I guess.
Oh,
because he was so good. I guess it's the right word at the end of last year. I think people had that higher expectations for Baker, but for me, I'm like, Baker is Baker Mayfield, so this is more like typical Baker. So,
and I have a bone to pick with Lamar Jackson, man. I really do.
I don't. I love Lamar Jackson. Thanks for the fumbles, guy.
I got a bone to pick with Lamar Jackson. Yeah. Like, this is my problem with Lamar Jackson. Fourth quarter is 2 minutes and 35 seconds left in the game, and you decide to run the ball. Everything I've been saying about Lamar Jackson, I'm going to keep saying. He does not throw the ball. He's not accurate. He will not throw. His first thought is to always run. I watched that whole entire game.
No, his first thought is not. Maybe you watched it wrong.
No, I didn't.
No,
there's no way. It's no way. Like, I understand the pocket breaks down. I get it. But most quarterbacks move out of the pocket to throw the ball. This guy moves out of the pocket.
Did you not see the pass to the back of the end zone to Marquise Brown?
Okay, that was one pass. And he almost got himself killed. Not once, but twice.
He's gonna almost get himself killed a lot because that's the nature of who he is as a quarterback. However, I would say overall, and he had 3 fumbles lost, and those fumbles were bad, and that's why the Raiders won. Again, thank you.
That's why they won. I was not impressed. However, I'm sorry.
I'm not impressed. It wasn't a great performance by him, but what I will say is I think what they're trying to work on is making him more of a pocket passer, and you saw some of that in the game. The results, you can say how, because like he still only had 235 yards. He was still the leading rusher, so that's one. But that's by design to a certain extent. So yeah, I get your point there, but I think there's some reasons to be if you drafted Lamar Jackson, I'm not worried about it yet. Now I will say I did have Lamar Jackson written on my list of bad performances, but it was only because of the fumbles. So it wasn't because I think
but it's not because of the fumbles with me. It's everything. First of all, you have running backs. You have a ton of running backs. No, they don't.
They all got hurt. What are you talking about?
Okay, that kid Williams looked pretty good in the first half last time I checked. So he looked good.
And he got out-carried by Latavius Murray, who just joined the team on Friday. That's not Lamar Jackson's. Lamar Jackson's not the guy who's making those decisions.
Well, Harbaugh, he's making some bad decisions on calling plays. There's no way your quarterback should lead you with 12 carries as the running back. There's no way that should happen. And first of all, at the end of the day, he's your quarterback. He should learn how to slide instead of going head first to the ground. I'm just saying.
I'm not going to stay here and listen to this Lamar Jackson bashing because Lamar Jackson is the reason we won. So,
only
an awesome game for the Raiders. Thank you, Moms. Here's one I'm concerned about. For getting back to seriously on quarterbacks, and it's Josh Allen. Because he was right after Patrick Mahomes. Stop smiling, because you're a Josh Allen hater as well. for much the same reason you hate on Lamar Jackson.
No. I actually came around to Josh Allen.
You came around.
So
but here's what seriously what scares me about Josh Allen is the fact that his completion percentage was below 60%, and all that's going back to those years where we didn't, because we were both took a lot of heat because we aren't big Josh Allen guys. But we came around last year because and this is the number one thing for me, was he increased his passing completion. So that first game, we'll say maybe it was the pressure with the Steelers. Steelers played much better than I expected them to. But I'm watching his completion percentage, and I'm gonna see how it goes from there. Hopefully, it gets better because I just started liking Josh Allen a little bit. I can't like him too much because AFC rivalry, but yeah, that 59% scares me. Go ahead.
Well,
What other impact players unless you want to talk about Josh Allen as well?
I mean, I know somebody that's a really, 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 really big Bills fan.
Yeah, we do.
We do.
Fan of the show.
And he's a friend of the show, definitely. He always said that Josh Allen shouldn't have got this money so early.
Right.
He should have proved it again this year and then gave him the money. Which I agree with him every bit. I agree that Josh Allen, they rushed to give Josh Allen the money when they had him for a whole nother year.
Yeah.
And they should have made him prove it again. Now, my question for you is, does he revert back to being that guy that's not accurate anymore? Does that?
We about to find out. They're going against the Dolphins this week.
Okay.
If it doesn't get better, I'm gonna start to be a bit concerned.
Okay.
I'm gonna start to be a bit. Let's see. A comment from the Bracy once again talking about how awesome the game was. She said she was pulling for Nita's brand from the show. So I'm not even gonna finish reading her comment.
She said she was
banned.
No, look. I don't have nothing against Lamar Jackson. I hope Lamar Jackson does well personally.
Yeah.
I just think for the amount of money he's about to ask for, which is about $35-40 million a year, that's Patrick Mahomes money. Yeah. Let's be real. Yeah. You have to be some type of passer to get that type of money.
He's going to have to pass for a lot more yards this year, especially since he's doing his own contract. So, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, and the thing is this, when it comes down to playoff time, and you have to throw the ball, especially if you get in a shootout against a team, and you don't want to. Like the mistake was made when they had a chance to win the game, and they decided to run. That's how he fumbled instead of him sitting back in the pocket and actually throwing the ball and believing in his receivers. He first look, and then if it's not there, he runs. That's not a quarterback.
No, again. He made some second reads in that game.
I don't know about that, but okay. All right. If you want to say that. Derek Carr made some second, third, and fourth reads in that game.
Yeah, well, Derek Carr is a better quarterback. And I've said this before, so I'm not no argument there. I'm just saying, stop hating on my man, Lamar. Okay. Question, welcome Baller Brooke to the show. What are your thoughts on Sutton? We talked a little bit about Sutton earlier. What do you got?
I think Sutton about to get that work. He's the number one receiver now. He's got to be. He was good before he got hurt.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be relied on more now, being that Jerry Jeudy is not there for about 6 weeks. So I think you're gonna be happy with him because I think he's gonna be good this year. I think he's gonna be good. Especially this week coming up, they know he's gonna have to get that work. Yeah.
The only thing about Sutton that scares me, and it's the same thing that scared me before this, he's coming off a very serious injury. So they're going to have to work him back a bit. I think they're going to be a bit cautious with how they work him back into the lineup. But towards the second half of the season, when you're in the playoffs, I think you're going to really be happy that you have him on your team, if you do. Start initially, I think you might see someone like a KJ Hamler or Tim Patrick maybe be the lead guy going on, but Courtland Sutton is more talented than both of those two guys combined, honestly, if you ask me. Courtland Sutton, I mean, he plays for Denver, and so you can't really see it because, quite frankly, and I've said this before, I'm not very enthused about Teddy Bridgewater having that job. I think they should have gone with Drew Lock, the younger guy, because Drew Lock gives you wide receivers the best possibility to shine. But considering who the quarterback is, I think you're going to be fairly happy with Sutton once he gets his legs right after he's played for a few games. So give it a couple of games, and I think Sutton's good. Thanks for the question, comment. Appreciate it.
So we're gonna move to the top running backs of the week.
Okay.
Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon.
Yeah. 29 carries, 127, touchdown. Oh, David Montgomery. David Montgomery. 16 carries, 108, and a touchdown.
Don't sigh when you say David Montgomery. Put some respect on his name.
Okay, I'm sorry. David Montgomery. Lord, David Montgomery.
Yeah.
Elijah Mitchell came in with 19 carries, 104 yards, and a touchdown. Melvin Gordon, 11 carries. He had a big 70-yard run, which gave him 101 yards and a touchdown. These are the only 4 guys, I think, that went over 100 yards for the whole entire week, which is not saying a lot, but that's good for those guys. Figure it should be more next week when guys get their legs underneath them. So I think they'll be all right.
I throw in, if you didn't, because I was typing something at the time, just to let Nita know she's unbanned. I forgot her brother's a Ravens fan, so she can still watch the show, but you can't comment against the Raiders. Christian McCaffrey was. Oh no, let me finish my sentence.
No. How can she comment against my Nanas, but she can't comment against the Raiders? Yeah, that don't make sense. She has bashed me.
I don't care about the Niners.
She has bashed me numerous of times about my 49ers up here. I still love you though. Don't worry about that.
I bashed you about the Niners too. They deserve bashing. But Christian McCaffrey under 100, but he also had 89 receiving yards. And what talking about going back to Corson coming off an injury with him, they did not waste any time getting Christian McCaffrey. 30. Nope. He had 30 between his carries and his receptions. 30 plays, touches the end in the game. They just automatically started off where they left off of it, and that's why people draft Christian McCaffrey first overall. Yep. He is the offense on that team. So
and I think they should do that with Saquon. I mean,
they might as well
give him the work. Yeah. I mean, you got to see what you got him.
Once they feel he's healthy enough, I guess. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, I think they will. But I mean, I think they bringing him along slow. Yeah, which is not bad, but it's not good either because you're not gonna get him back into game shape if you don't do that.
Welcome the other Jasper. Well, I should say I'm the other because I'm the younger one. Jasper Lewis to the show. How about the number 1 team in the NFL East? I wonder who he could possibly mean. A well-balanced team. I'm sorry. I meant to actually put him in my list of impact players. How about Jalen Hurts? Because one of us was bashing on him a week ago on this very show, where the other one of us, no names at all, said, you better watch out for Jalen Hurts this week because playing against those Falcons, he was going to put in some work. And, yeah. You awake? You want to join us?
I was making sure you was done. I was sleeping through that whole segment. I wanted to make sure you was done. I'm just saying, really, they played the Falcons. Like, let's not be gloating too much now. They played the Falcons. Honestly, the Falcons are the worst secondary in the entire football league.
And that's why I said you start Jalen Hurts week 1.
I mean, geez. We talking about the NFC East of all divisions. Really?
Hey, that's some almost talented teams in the NFC East.
Well balanced. Really? We're going to see this week how well balanced y'all are when y'all take that big L this week from the Niners. and Anita, we don't suck, by the way. We're really good. Last time I checked. So I'm sorry. Niners all the way. Let's go.
All right. So here's a running back. And there's some obvious choices for guys that did not live up to the hype. Of course, we talked about James Robinson, but we think that's going to get better. Derrick Henry was so disappointing to me because I was
gosh. Well, they got out to they got out to an early lead and they kind of took that away from them. And to see that's part of the problem of him being a top pick, because he doesn't catch out the backfield, so he gets removed from the field in those situations. So that's part of it.
Here's a pair of rookies I was disappointed in. Well, actually, it's a triplet of rookies. I talked about Naji Harris, but I told y'all, temper your expectations. But here's my Naji Harris comment. Look for him to do a nice bounce back because they are playing against the Raiders, and the Raiders cannot stop the run. Have not been able to stop the run for years. Hey, if Naji Harris can't do a good job rushing this year, I am going to build myself a throne upon my bold prediction and say if he can't run for 100 yards against the Raiders, he ain't getting nowhere near 1,000. But the other rookies I want to mention are the pair of rookies for the Jets who got 4 carries apiece, Ty Johnson and Michael Carter. Not that I had big expectations for them, but that was just atrocious.
Yeah, that's terrible. That whole team. I mean, Zach Wilson looked bad too in the beginning. So yeah,
it took him a while to warm up.
It's gonna take a while for them to warm up. So
we got a comment from Justin. I think we're getting live updates. He said he just got Zeke, got rid of Tunyon and Mixon. Like during the show, made this
during
trade.
The show?
Okay.
I'll take that.
I'll take Zeke
take Zeke over that.
Here's the deal. Tunyon, I don't really care about because I think we started before. He's a good tight end, but he's touchdown dependent. And so the way the Packers do the offense, he's one of those tight ends that you get in for like a bye week. He's not like a premier dude. So the fact that you had to give him away, kudos to you. The Joe Mixon one is interesting because Joe Mixon traditionally gets off to a bad start. He started off great this first week. But if I have to choose between Zeke and Mixon, I still say I go with Zeke in the long run. I mean, so I think that's a good trade.
I think what they did, that's more with Mixon. They did that to protect Barrow because of the offensive line.
Which they need to,
yeah. So that's probably why they did that. Which is smart though. I mean, I'll take Zeke though. I'll take Zeke over Mixon in there.
My dad chimes in and says that Jalen Hurts ain't over. He about to keep it going. And I think that means against you. Well, hey, here's something interesting about the 49ers defense. Did they just give up 33 points to the Lions?
We took our starters out in the fourth
Jared
quarter.
Goff?
We took our starters out in the fourth quarter. We was up by
Yeah,
we was up at 21 points. We took our starters out.
Okay.
Took our starters out. I was mad. I'm telling you, I was I told you. I was mad. I was like, yo, why you take the start? He took every start out, yo. I was like, what are you doing? That's how they end up coming back. I don't think
he'd be taking the starters off against the Eagles. I'll say that.
He took his foot off the gas. He even said that in the press conference. I took my foot off the gas. I don't think that's happening against the Eagles, though. We're going to dust the Eagles, though. You heard it first here.
Cool.
First. Yeah.
Any other impact running backs or
we're going to receivers. Tyreek Hill, man, boy, Tyreek Hill, 11 receptions, 197 in the touchdown. So he did work. My boy Deebo Sanders, 9 receptions,
surprisingly good to me this year.
He got
not
12.
This year, but that game he strode out. Yeah,
he got 12 targets, so he definitely did work. Amari Cooper, 13 receptions, 139 yards. 2 touchdowns. Can't be mad at that. Brandon Cooks. I mean, geez, what can you say about him?
Yeah.
5 receptions, 132 yards, and no touchdowns, but still had a wonderful
day. The yards in the receptions.
Yeah.
Right.
And your Nimitz, Antonio Brown, 5 receptions, 120 yards, and a touchdown.
He's dead to me still.
Wow, we got live trades going on while we on the. These guys are...
Jace, well, first, Nita, we know she's supposed to quarterback. I don't know why she don't want to root for Dak. Well, I do because he plays for Cry Girls. Mahomes is all the way, though. But Jason said trade Chubb for Swift and Justin Jefferson. Since we're talking impact wide receivers, someone who was not an impact is Justin Jefferson. He had 9 targets, 5 receptions, 71 yards. Not a bad stat line, but what really caught my attention is the fact that as much as I love Adam Thielen, I did not expect him to get out. Justin Jefferson had as many targets as Adam Thielen had receptions, and so that dynamic. It might have just been the way the defense was covering, but I'm like, ooh, if you drafted Justin Jefferson early, like a lot of people did, you might not be too pleased with that first week. But DeAndre Swift, on the other hand, despite the fact that he and Jamal Williams had pretty much equal carries, Swift put up some work. In fact, I meant to mention him earlier, so thanks for asking this question, Jason. Overall, you like that trade, though? Do you take Nick Chubb for those?
My question, I would like to know who is his other receivers.
Okay.
Before he make that. Well, he's trading Chubb.
He's trading away Chubb to get
Chubb.
those two guys.
So I want to know who his other running backs are.
Yeah.
I would like to know who his other running backs are. Because that will make it make more sense. Because if you trade Chubb, you must have some other good running backs. Yeah. So I would like to know who his other running backs are. But if you're getting Swift back, you're getting Swift and Jefferson back, right, and you got other good running backs, by all means, that's a great trade. Honestly.
I would say, to me, I don't know who he's trading with, but whoever, because he's giving away, like you said, it sounds like he's giving away Chubb. I'm wondering what the other person is thinking, because I'm not giving away DeAndre Swift and Justin Jefferson for Nick Chubb, and I love Nick Chubb, but I think the person he's trading with is probably overreacting to Justin Jefferson's bad week. I take it. Like I said,
but that's
depending on the rest. Like you said, comment back with the rest, how the rest of your team looks. But for me, I would say if I get Swift and Jefferson for Chubb, I'm happy with that. Especially if you have other running backs on your squad. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, and that's why people are overreacting with this. Like, it's week 1.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I have seen, like, especially in the leagues we play in, people are making moves to, go for trades, right, and do certain things like that, which it's early.
I'm not going to call this person out by name, but this wasn't even a week 1 reaction. We had a guy in one of our leagues drop doggone Joe Mixon. I guess not expecting him to do, maybe they expected him to start all slow again or whatever. But I'm like, these are the kind of moves you have to trust yourself, right?
Yeah.
You don't give up on the guy right after the draft. Like, you've had 1 week of evidence. You have literally one data point by which you're making these strong decisions. Don't get too high if you won by a lot. Don't panic if you lost. But for you, Jason, I think if my bench running backs are strong, I take that, because DeAndre Swift is going to put up numbers this year.
Yeah, and Jefferson.
And Justin Jefferson, he's going to come around.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be all right. So I ain't worried about that. We also can say that they dropped Courtney Sutton too.
Oh, yeah. Someone. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, like, there's a bunch of overreacting going on. I mean, because honestly, I got Mike Davis in all my leagues, and I could have been like, oh, I'm just going to drop Mike Davis because Mike Davis didn't do anything. No, you just move him to the bench, or if it's the matchup ain't right, you just move him to the bench. You give him a week, go from there.
I'm with you. Another question coming in from Justin with the Pat Browns question before defense question. Who do you trust more, Taylor or Zach Wilson?
I'm thinking Is that Jonathan Taylor?
I'm assuming so. I'm trying to think. Yeah.
With the Browns.
I don't think I can say I trust Zach Wilson.
I'm going Jonathan Taylor.
At all.
If that's Jonathan Taylor, I'm saying Jonathan Taylor. Zach Wilson he gonna start off struggling. He started off struggling last week against Carolina. So I'm definitely going Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
Obviously.
It also says that someone offered Gaskins and Mike Davis for Aaron Jones. I said no. I would too, honestly. I think I like Aaron Jones better. Only because
Tyrod Taylor.
Oh yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, Tyrod Taylor. I forgot about.
I'm going Tyrod. Oh no, I'm not. I'm going Zach Wilson. Because Tyrod, they play Cleveland and.
Yeah, I was about to just look up the matchups to see to make sure.
They play Cleveland.
Texans at the Browns, and Zach Wilson. We have the Jets at the Patriots.
I'm going Zach Wilson. I'll trust Zach Wilson over that, because that Browns defense is pretty good. So, man, I think they're gonna have a field day with Tyrod. It ain't gonna be as easy as he had it last week. I tell you that.
I'm gonna. I don't. I'm still gonna say I don't trust Zach Wilson, but you all know I don't trust Tyrod Taylor either. I don't trust. I can't really answer that question because I don't trust either guy. I don't think either guy is. I say like this. Let me rephrase your question. Who do I think has the possibility to have a bigger breakout game? And in that case, I'm going to go Zach Wilson.
Yeah, me too. I don't trust Tyrod.
But I don't trust either. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't trust either guy.
I don't trust Tyrod.
Tyrod Taylor wasn't bad last week, but they were also.
He's not doing it. He's not doing that this week, though. No, he was playing a bad Jags team.
Exactly.
He's definitely not doing that.
So against the Browns.
Nah.
Yeah.
No.
Thanks for that question. Welcome Timothy Chan to the show. I guess it's another trade. He receives Evans, Robbie Anderson, and Miles Sanders, but he had to give up Ayuk, Galladay, Godwin, and James Robinson. Ooh.
I'm not doing that.
Lose full PPR.
I like Evans. I'm a huge Robbie Anderson fan, and I like Miles Sanders. But you giving up. The only question mark, what you're giving up is Galladay. Galladay doesn't stay healthy. But Godwin, Ayuk, J-Rob, I don't know about that. I mean, because basically, I think Godwin is probably number one over Evans in that offense. So you're giving up the number one for the number two, which doesn't make a lot of sense. And Robbie Anderson, and I like Robbie Anderson. Miles Sanders, I think, what's the Gainwell? I think
Gainwell for Philadelphia. Yeah,
Gainwell gonna take up some of his carries. You'd be better off keeping J-Rob because he has no competition. Godwin gonna get his. Brandon Ayuk can come around. Galladay is the only question mark. But when healthy, he's really good. Right. And the only question mark with that is Daniel Jones. So
big question mark.
I think you're giving up a little bit too much, honestly, for that one. I wouldn't do it. That's just me.
Well, here's my deal with because this is a lot of players going back and forth. You're receiving 3 and you're giving up 4. And so whenever I'm giving away more players than I'm giving up, I expect a really big jump somewhere. And so for me, despite last week, I put Evans and Godwin kind of on equal footing.
Yeah.
Miles Sanders and James Robinson, to me, also much the same. I agree with you that James Robinson doesn't have the competition, but I'm a bit concerned. I told y'all before, I'm not big on Urban Meyer and what he's going to do with this offense of the Jaguars. I think he's going to squander a lot of that talent. So I would say Miles Sanders, James Robinson. I give a slight, and I mean a very slight edge to Miles Sanders, but those are together. So then what you have left is you're giving up Ayuk and Galladay for Robbie Anderson. And would I do that? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't do it. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, he's giving up too much firepower, honestly, to get back Miles Sanders, who's probably going to be splitting carries with Gainwell at some point of the season. And obviously, Mike Evans is equaling out to a Godwin.
Right.
And Robbie Anderson, if you can say he's the number 2 on that team or is he number 1, it's really personal opinion. But, I mean, now I would keep who I got because a lot of those guys are still going to do well.
I don't think you're gaining enough in that trade. Now, between Evans, Robbie Anderson, or Miles Sanders, if you give me a player a level up from any one of those guys, and I'm giving away these 4, then I like it better. But if I'm giving away 4, one of those 3 guys has to be like a person I would have drafted in the first or second round. And I'm not doing the first or second round pick for any of those guys. Maybe Miles Sanders, but I'm not happy about it. So,
No.
like, if I could see drafting Miles Sanders in the second round, but it's not like I have Miles Sanders on the team, and I drafted him because he was the best available player. It wasn't a guy I was excited about drafting, right? So yeah. But thanks for the question, Tim. Yeah, we both agree we would not do that trade. Justin comes back and basically just saying, yeah, for the Browns defense, so because Zach Wilson can show up and can score more, the Browns defense I have more confidence in.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a good way to look at that question. So going back, because his original question was about the Pats or the Browns, and so looking at quarterbacks, that's a great way to do it. DJ Moore, Corey Davis, or Sutton, you can start one of those three. I think I'm starting Corey Davis off what I did last week. It for me would be between, because like I said, Cortland Sutton, you got to see how he's coming back off the injury. So it would be between DJ Moore and Corey Davis. I think DJ Moore is better, but I think Corey Davis. Well, here's maybe me talking myself out of that. I think you had James. I think you had Jamison Crowder coming back off the COVID list this week.
Yeah.
So you might not expect Corey Davis to have the kind of.
I'm going DJ Moore because DJ Moore is the more.
Yeah.
He's the number one. He's the more reliable receiver as far as he's guaranteed to get his reception. So I would go DJ Moore as a safer bet.
Is the Saints defense going to be as good as they were last week?
No.
Because if that's the case, then the Jets are going to be going against the Patriots, and I got the Panthers against the Saints. They shut down Devontae Adams pretty doggone good.
I mean, but you don't know when. I mean, I like Cortland Sutton. I got him. But
I love Cortland Sutton. The only reason I don't go Cortland Sutton is because I want to see him have a really good game coming off the injury before I start him.
Yeah, so he's out of the question. Corey Davis, with against New England, I think they will kind of shadow him a little bit, being that he's probably the most productive receiver on the team. DJ Moore is probably the only one. I think he's 1A, 1B with Robbie Anderson. Yeah. So, I mean, you gotta go him. So, I'm gonna
go DJ, and I guess here's a way to re-ask that question, and that's what we do here. When you do fantasy, you have to think about it a lot of different ways. If I'm clearing away week 1, and I'm just going back to the draft, which player am I drafting first, DJ Moore or Corey Davis? I don't think you're going to see a lot of people pick Corey Davis above DJ Moore, right?
DJ Moore.
And so DJ Moore is the guy I start.
Honestly, it's like this. If you got to play your best guys every week, no matter what. I mean, no matter the matchup or nothing like that. You just got to – I understand some guys will have better weeks than others, but at the end of the day, you have to play your studs, your stud players in the lineup no matter what. It's just because the fact that you drafted them so high,
right? You
got to play them. And they're going to do work regardless because they're just talented. They're more talented than your backups.
Yeah.
That's why your backups is your backups at the end of the day. So, yeah.
Also, early Super Bowl predictions. I know you're going to say the 49ers against somebody. You're wrong, but go ahead.
What kind of question is that, man? Come on, man. Like, it's going to be the 49ers. Well,
who do you have the 49ers playing against in the Super Bowl?
I think it's going to be the 49ers and the Chiefs again.
Oh, rematch.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Part 2.
Our producer who's from Kansas City is not.
That should be a good thing. What are you talking about?
I don't think the Chiefs part is what she's saying no to. I'm just thinking
part 2. Part 2. Don't worry about it. We're going to take it this time, though.
No, you're not.
I'm going to say, and I've said this before, I think the Rams are going to be the potential best team in the NFC.
Okay.
So I'm going to go Rams in the Super Bowl. I want to say my Raiders, but I just don't have that kind of faith. So
please don't do that.
So I'm thinking AFC. If it's not the Chiefs, who else do I have confidence in getting to that game? I would have earlier have said like the Titans or the Ravens, but I'm not impressed with either one of those guys after 1 week. I'm not overreacting. I just saw some reasons for alarm. So I'm going to say, yeah, Chiefs Rams. Why the heck not? Of course, Chiefs winning. DJ Moore, going back to another question, Justin. DJ Moore, Allen Robinson, or Justin Jefferson, or Waddle. You can start 2 of those. Thanks for the question. Justin Jefferson for me is a definite start because there's no way he gets shut out. Well, like I said, he didn't have a bad stat line, but he didn't have the I drafted Justin Jefferson as my first wide receiver kind of start that people expected, and then I go with DJ Moore after that. I love Waddle. Yeah. By the way, since I think we were talking impact players, wide receivers, Jalen Waddle. I was looking forward to it, despite the fact that I hate his quarterback. Waddle had a really good performance. But of those 2, for me, I'm gonna say of those ones, I want to say Allen Robinson to an extent, but I still can't go with Andy Dalton being the course. So I'm going to say DJ Moore and Justin Jefferson are my 2. Who are your 2?
I mean, I'm going obviously Jefferson, and I'm going DJ Moore. I love Robinson, man.
I love Robinson, and I know he had Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles last year and put up work, but I am so anti Andy Dalton and right now Matt Nagy that I think the only person I like for certain is David Montgomery because Monty's awesome.
But the thing is, Andy Dalton is not better than he won't better than the 2.
Andy Dalton's not better than anybody. You fill in the blank.
I'm telling you, I got a strange feeling that Fields is going to play a lot more this week coming up than he did last week, right? Because he scored the only touchdown passing touchdown from a quarterback position than last week. Than Dalton. So I think at the end of the day, I think he's going to put him in a lot more this week, which I'm hoping anyway. But I think he should play a lot more this week.
He should be the starter this week. Just to say, he actually met Kenyan Drake in person. I'm going from your icon saying you must be a West Coast guy because he looks like Carmelo in his Portland days over there. Yeah. That's awesome. Here's something about Kenyan Drake. Before we talked about how that was going to affect Josh Jacobs, I actually like the way they work those 2 running backs watching that game. They look like I agree. I'm very biased because I'm a Raiders fan. By the way, there you go.
Oh my God.
We in we walk on the dark side. But I just really like what I saw from the Raiders offense this year. It took them a long time to get started. But since we're talking wide receivers, and since Justin did mention the Raiders, I would take this gratuitous time to mention a couple of wide receivers for the Raiders that you might want to put on your waiver wire hot list.
Oh gosh, jeez.
Did you notice?
Oh my gosh, you know what you're doing tonight?
What am I doing?
You're pulling a move that I will pull.
What's that?
I talk about the Niners a lot up here.
Yes.
And sometimes I can go I can go a whole lot of time about the Niners.
Yeah.
You pulling one of my stunts tonight. You talk about the Raiders quite a bit.
The Raiders beat the Ravens, which nobody but me and the Raider Nation was expecting. No one on this show, even my producer over here.
Why would I pick the Raiders to win and I'm a Chiefs fan? Just think about this.
Even our producer over here. By the way, welcome to the show, Tony. Brian Edwards, he didn't come on till very late. But I did mention to y'all, you might want to keep Brian Edwards on your radar because I think the Raiders are going to have a 1,000-yard receiver. It took a long time. They took away his touchdown, but watch out for Brian Edwards. And I even say Hunter Renfrow got a lot of love. Hunter Renfrow, my man. Don't put Hunter Renfrow on your team right now, though.
Please.
But keep watching him though. But hey, he gets us at the only thing about the Raiders, and I just jump to impact players on tight ends and say Darren Wallace.
Thank you.
19,
I was about to say that.
19 targets, which is stupidly ridiculous. But some of that love is going to go to the wide receivers, and so I would definitely keep Brian Edwards on your radar. I'll let you go.
I mean, I don't know what to say after that, man.
Say the Raiders are great, and you're going to draft.
I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. What I am going to say is this.
Go ahead.
Do not put nobody as far as receivers from the Raiders on your team, because anytime Darren Waller is getting 19 to 20,
insane number of targets.
But
the Ravens couldn't do anything about it.
It don't matter. He started off the game. He threw Darren Waller 8 times straight. Are you kidding me? No.
You gotta go with what the defense is giving you. And apparently they were letting Waller come right off the line, like completely unobstructed, like not even trying to slow him down. How do you not throw to him?
I get all of that, but still, you telling me you're gonna throw to this man 8 to 9 times before you even think about throwing to anybody else and running them? Look, I enjoyed all of it because I got him on one of my teams and I destroyed somebody, so I'm good with that. By the way, I beat Tony this week. I just want to throw that out there. But like I was saying, we're gonna talk about. But we got some tight ends, because I feel like all the tight ends. It was a good week for tight ends, honestly. Yeah. Darren Waller, T.J. Hockenson played well.
Hockenson balled out.
Gronkowski did well. Travis Kelce. Kittles. Everybody got over 50, 60 yards, 70 yards. All of them did well.
You just threw Kittles in for fun, right?
You know I'm throwing Kittles in there. Don't even mess with me like that. So you know this.
I'm looking at stat lines and I'm like, where does Kittle fit with these other players?
Kelsey, the end. Kelsey.
I would say Grunt, Kelsey, Hockenson, and Darren Waller balled out.
No,
Kittle was,
Kelsey.
And Kittle was there.
Thank you. Yeah. And Kittle was there because he played the position. That's about it. So let's end this now.
Kittles. Hey, look, we're not gonna go through this, okay?
Yes,
Kittle. No, we're not.
Yes,
I'm not. We're not gonna go through this.
He did stuff, but who was the top? It wasn't him.
We're not gonna go through this, okay?
All right.
I know we gotta go through this.
I mentioned I mentioned waiver wire stuff earlier. Before we head out, most of you guys have put in your waiver wire selections, I'm pretty sure already. But there's still a few guys out there you might want to look at. Do you have any suggestions for folks that might still be? Elijah Mitchell is gone. We said we were going to talk about Elijah Mitchell a little bit.
Outside of Elijah Mitchell.
For those that do auction.
Sterling Shepard.
Let me jump this in. I'm sorry. I'm going to interrupt you. For those of you that do auction leagues for your free agents, if you do, I'm interested in how much Elijah Mitchell went for in your leagues. In the two of the leagues I'm in, he went like 59 and 60% of your total salary for the year to get Elijah Mitchell. He said the voice in the back.
The voice in the back.
That's our producer.
Hi everybody. I'm sorry. I'm rude to y'all. I don't speak. Hi. How you doing?
But I don't even remember. But yeah, if you're in an auction free agent league, let me know how much Elijah Mitchell went for, because he went for some bonkers numbers. I saw some people like Elijah Mitchell went for like 100%. Several people spent 100% of their free auction money on Elijah Mitchell, which to me is insane.
Look, I would say I got two more.
I cut you off on your thing.
Yeah, I know you did. That's all right. She yelling at me and you cut me off. It's cool though. Sterling Shepard is one. He's a good waiver wire pickup. And surprisingly, Devin Singletary. Jameis Winston too, but Jameis Winston, if you can still get him, by all means get him. But
yeah, if you can, you shouldn't be able to. But yeah, if you can, the guy throws 5 touchdowns, you pick him up, put him on your bench if you need to. Yeah, I'm with you there.
But Sterling Shepard should be a good play. And Devin Singletary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cover for Justin, great show. Hey, it's a great show when you guys ask the questions that you do. So we thank you all for the questions you've asked tonight. He says, how about maybe these are for free agent pickups, Gainwell and James White. I think we mentioned Gainwell. I really like. Here's my thing about James White. I am anti-Patriots running back 100% of the way. I make a James White exception because I don't care how old he gets. I don't care what happens. Somehow, in PPR, James White just is that dude. And so I can't explain it, but I roll with it. So, yeah.
I picked up James White, too. Yeah. I ain't mad at that. He
defies all my Patriots logic. Yeah.
He is like the only Patriot that never gets traded or released. He's always there no matter what.
He and Belichick might be cousins somehow down the line. They family. God. Something happens. So, yeah, James White is definitely a guy you pick up.
I'm telling you, he must got something on Bill Belichick or something.
he said, Justin also says that Elijah Mitchell went for $35, probably $100 free agent league. So that's like 35%. That's more in line of what I think he's worth. Because to me, I love Elijah Mitchell for what he was last week. But the truth is, like we said earlier in the show, Trey Sherman is going to be a part of that backfield. And at some point, it's going to be some sort of 50-50 split, we think. Yeah. And I'm not even 100% sure, and you can tell me that because that's your team. Jermichael Hasty might even factor in significantly at some point. So for me, the people that spent like 100% of their free agent money on him,
I really think it's going to be a running back committee until one of them kind of breaks loose and just. But still, even with that, I think he's going to roll with the hot hand regardless.
Yeah,
because whoever's hot, that's what he's going with.
That's who Kyle Shanahan is, and quite frankly, isn't that what his dad Mike Shanahan was also? So
yeah, that's what he did.
So that's what he got it honestly.
Until he found a very until he found a running back that he wanted to keep in there. But he's gonna roll the high hand. He did that last year.
Exactly.
He did it with Mosley. I mean, he did it with Mustard. He did it with everybody. He did it with 3 or 4 running backs. Now you look, the 49ers have had 4 different running backs to lead the team in rushing the last 4 years. So I'm just saying, buy at your own cost. Yeah. But I think he's gonna split carries. Honestly.
Going back to a few, I did see Justin mention he wants Justin Fields to start by week 4. I want him to start by week 2 because he needs to be.
Yeah, he needs to
want him to start week 1. Other comments is he's going to start A-Rob over DJ Moore because he's playing Cincinnati. I can't be mad at that. I think. And I know I keep bashing Andy Dalton because he deserves to be bashed, but Allen Robinson has had terrible quarterbacks his whole career, and he does nothing but produce. So I'm never going to get mad at starting Allen Robinson, especially against Cincinnati because they also don't play defense. He did get a lot of targets. And while we're talking about receivers, and Cincinnati, it's not what he was saying, but I just wanted to throw in a wide receiver I was proud of, and we mentioned earlier Jamar Chase, who had 5 receptions, 7 targets, 101 yards and touchdown, and didn't drop the ball every time it came to him. I think I might have mentioned that before. Justin asked the question, when is Williams getting the key? No, he's not, because I have Melvin Gordon on my team.
Nah, they're gonna split carries. So Melvin Gordon actually got to get got to get hurt.
I think that's going to be a 50-50 split all year.
Well, Melvin Gordon got to get hurt for that to happen, for him to get the keys.
Yeah, that's the only way Javonte Williams gets the keys this year is if Melvin Gordon gets hurt, which I hope doesn't happen because I just traded away Josh Jacobs because I had Melvin Gordon on my bench. So I'm hoping Melvin Gordon stays at 50% that whole year. And I said before the season started, going back to our bold predictions, that I don't see any of the rookie wide receivers really putting up a lot of yards, like hitting 1,000 yards this year. And the part of the reason I say that going to Javonte Williams is I don't see him getting those keys, like you said. So there's a limit to all of them. What NBA teams do you like? We're both Bulls fans. Yeah, 2 guys from Virginia are both huge Bulls fans.
Yeah, we're huge.
Despite the fact that they have sucked forever.
They might be all right this year, though.
I'm actually very interested in all the moves they made in this off season. So I'm gonna cross my fingers, but I'm a Bulls fan, so I keep my expectations low because every time they get good, they find a way to break the whole team apart and get bad again. Because I think deep in their hearts they don't like success. Ever since Jordan left, they're like, we're just gonna be that bad.
Well, they finally started to do something this year. They got some free agents. But people with Justin, what you don't realize is that me and this guy here, we have a lot in common. We have a lot in common, a whole lot, down to drafting styles. So yeah, if you're in a room with us and we drafting, you'll see. I'm gonna tell y'all something. We was in a room drafting like a couple weeks ago, and he handed me a piece of paper.
Oh,
and he was like,
I did it twice.
He did it twice. He said, don't open it until
after you make your selection.
After you make your pick, and then you open it up and let me know. I said, all right, whatever. I chuckled. I was like, man, you funny, man, whatever. So I went up, and darn if he had two players up there. I can't remember the player's name.
It was Jefferson, and it was a running back, Antonio Gibson. So
I went up and I got Justin Jefferson, and I looked at it. I was like, man, you crazy, man. And then he did it a second time, and he figured out my pick again. So that just goes to say that we've been drafting a very long time together. I mean, we started in the draft room together before we even started doing the show. We was in the draft room, sitting back behind, going over drafts for people. So that's how this thing all started, Justin. So yeah, we have a lot in common. So
Justin says he got Heat the Lakers in the finals. He says the Bulls can be a top 4 to 5 seed. I'm hoping so. Again, I stay depressed with my basketball, so I'm gonna go in with low expectations, but I'm hoping they can do that. I hate the Lakers, by the way, and I've always hated the Lakers. The only time I halfway liked the Lakers was when Phil Jackson was there, but that's only because he's Phil Jackson, and I still didn't root for them. But Tony wants to tell us he's a Bulls fan, but I don't care about Tony because I just remember we play each other this week. So Tony, you're banned. Just banning the audience left and right today.
So no, that's all good. We appreciate everybody tuning in.
For all the questions.
For the people that asked us questions, we appreciate it. For the ones that's not subscribed yet, hit the like button. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, you all of it. And if you look in the right corner, well, our left corner, you'll see our Twitter pages. So definitely follow us on Twitter. If you got any questions, we definitely will answer them like anybody else. So we definitely just get with us.
And of course, okay, hold up before I got Tony's laughing, but I was serious. You're banned until next week. He said he's a Melo fan. Here's the thing. I always like Melo, but he's on the Lakers now, so whatever. I hate the Lakers, and I can't unhate them. Especially since we talk about stuff we have in common. We are also both big LeBron haters.
Yes, we don't like LeBron either.
So yeah. No. If I ever wanted to like the Lakers, I can't do it now just because LeBron. They combined my two NBA hates. I hate the Lakers and I hate LeBron, and now they've joined into one thing. So that's just the devil to me. But thanks again for all the questions. Hit us up on our social media like we said before. And this Saturday, don't forget the 40-second play clock. We're going to go through every game, and we're going to give you all the players you need to put in.
We got one more question.
What's up? I see. You go ahead.
First of all, I'm not down with Pretty Boy Garoppolo. That's not. If you tune into this podcast every week, and anybody that knows me, I do not want him as our starting cornerback. Yeah. Matter of fact, I want him out of town personally. I need Trey Lance to start. Garoppolo is not good. He didn't take us to the Super Bowl. The defense
was along for the ride, right?
He was along for the ride. The defense and the running game took us to the Super Bowl. So I don't like Garoppolo. I don't even want him on the team. But as a 49er fan and faithful, I'm going to root for my team, obviously. So, yeah, no, that's not even true. And as far as that end zone pass, it was cool and everything, but that was the only great pass he did.
It was a thing of beauty.
What about the swing pass out the backfield that he missed to Williams? That he was wide open and he threw 5 miles apart from him. Did you see that pass? Yeah. Thanks. I don't think you did. I did though.
So in conclusion, like, subscribe, keep joining with us, and definitely join us back here next week. We'll be doing all the questions again. We love the questions, so keep them rolling. 40-second play clock. Rodney's gonna make some more bad NFL game predictions.
But I'm gonna win.
Try
my league.
Try to dig himself out of last place, but we'll see how it goes.
Oh yeah, it's all
right.
Good,
you got anything else for the night?
That's it. You know what we do, man. We here. We ain't going nowhere. We appreciate y'all, man. Definitely see y'all next week.
All right. Peace out. Love y'all.